We want to give doctors back their freedom of speech. We want to put something about freedom of speech in this.
Healthcare professionals.
Put them all back to work. Right?
They're not allowed to say you. Yeah.
They say, listen to your doctor, and then they say, but your doctor's got a gun in his back.
Yeah.
That's not here, Victoria, though,
We've got to go
Victoria doesn't come
undercover
under
to
those
find
state
information.
emergency
This doctor I had a doctor came out.
Where's he going?
It's not the state's mandating doctors, it's APRA. That was a miracle.
So, how we made that a plan?
APRA, not the state.
I'm going to try and get what we can organised, get some food trucks here Tuesday. Try and get some temporary stuff things here for tomorrow.
We need finances so that we can house everyone because we're actually trying to raise $37,000 so that we can get everyone.
200. Clive's number.
Yeah.
No, I don't want it. You've got it.
So we'll try and get as much food as we can here tomorrow. Coffee, ice cream, sausage sandwich and stuff on the barbecue. I'll try and get that done tomorrow. Then Tuesday, outside the front of Parliament House, I'll make sure you can get in. And we'll work out, have a think tonight about what you want in that letter. And then you've got something filled up, type that up, get it formally signed. And after Tuesday's rally, take it.
I need 10 grand for a soundstage for Saturday. 10 grand. Okay, we've got a 50 grand soundstage for 10 grand.
Can you get me the quote?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, just send me the quote, send me the quote. I'll try and get that done.
Be able to help
Thanks
out.
everyone. Oh, sorry, we have to stay. Just keep working.
Would you comment? There's no point bringing food here if we can't stay.
So you can stay here in the room.
So myself and a
It's like
couple
the
others.
showers and toilets.
Well, no, myself and a couple others paid for it out of our own pocket for the first couple of days.
Right.
And then since then,
So
we've
that's
been
to
trying
stay
to
here?
fund it. Yes.
Right. What are they charging here? Was it 37?
It's 37.
5,300 a day.
Yeah. No, it's more. It's 5,700.
But we just got an extra
It's just under
500
6
sites for $35 for the whole 500.
Right, okay.
So we had an astute guy working with the management. He's opened up another 5 acres, and we've got all that for $35 for the whole lot.
But that's per person or per?
No,
The whole lot.
500 sites.
But we've got to pay around here. And we've been
So how much is it a day all up
It's, just under 6 grand.
for everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's more coming. We're also get a team together to organise alternative campsites for the overflow.
Yep. Okay.
I love overflow. There's going to be a lot of people outside of Parliament saying, nah.
I like the nut. I love the nut.
We're not putting up with it anymore.
So,
Are we going back to the coast? What'd you tell
worries,
me?
that's all right.
At Brilla's betting you.
Gotta try my best.
Bill is Britain, yeah. Get
No,
stuff.
we're not going
We're not
back.
going back there. I made you cry on TV.
You bastard. You saw that, did you?
Hey?
You saw that, did you? He did make me cry, this bastard. I must admit, I was even crying when I was driving down on, Saturday morning listening to you. And you went through the history of Australians Kokoda, and you made me cry, you bastard.
No, good. I got shares in Kleenex. So
Especially there with the War Memorial up behind you. So
Is there a way you're able, my phone's flat, but are you able to take down my number? And if you are able to help with accommodation, let me know. And then that way we don't have to continue to ask the public for money to keep us here.
Well, hang on a minute.
Because I'm broke as shit, I can't put you in.
I think we're better off funding just by the people.
I reckon too.
Yeah. Nothing against Craig, but I don't think we should be asking for political money. I think if we put our heads together, we'll be able to come up with
No, it
funds.
should be funded by the
Keep it as a
people.
backup.
Yeah.
no offence, Craig.
Let's do it. There's a lot of people behind this.
Yes.
Yeah, but look, let's understand.
At the moment, they're
Craig's
freezing
here
our
as
bank
Craig, not
accounts.
as UAP.
Well, where's the money coming
Here is the
from?
man,
At the
right?
moment,
Where's the money
they're
coming
freezing
from?
our bank accounts.
is that right?
I've got money in there. Our convoy, our
Freezing people's bank accounts
convoy to
to
Canberra.
stop the donations.
They froze their
Stage,
funding.
I reckon I can get the
All been
funding.
freezing our funding.
Yeah, man, let's
You're
We've
right.
got
You're
money
dead
in
right.
there.
No, it's being refunded already. It's already
So
started
what's
to
your
be
like? What's the
refunded.
plan here for tomorrow?
It's terms and conditions. Whoever uses a GoFundMe for a
we just had
political
a
activism
situation
group
where
is not an
this is-
intelligent person.
Because it's so
We use
organic, we just had a
PayPal,
meeting and
Coinbrox, stuff like that. There are mental others. It's blanket in their
The
terms.
leadership's been elected.
We want to get
Possess
people on
and
the
refund
ground
all your
at
funds.
the front of Parliament House every day. We're going to make it known that we need as many there as possible. Chris Uhlmann said they look out and if they can see the crowd going back down to the highway, they really get worried.
Yeah, that's right.
He said, if you're going to do anything, let me know everything you do.
Also, to all the media will be back in Canberra. So in Parliament House, there's a whole wing of media. So if they see things happening out, they all bring their television cameras outside.
Did you hear that, everybody?
Say it again, say it loud.
In Parliament House, there's a whole wing where all the media are in Canberra, right? So because Parliament is sitting this week, all the media will be there. 9, 7, 10, they'll have all their cameras, right? And if they see something happening out on the lawns, they'll all come out because they don't want to miss anything. They're
Okay,
frightened.
so what do you need from us, Craig? Like, as
Turn up on
people,
turn up on Tuesday.
peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful as you
Turn
possibly.
up every day.
Yeah, can we please stop bagging mainstream media, because some of them really want to start
And
talking.
Channel 9 did a good job.
Excuse me, on the media.
Love and respect for everybody.
Asking some politicians about getting the unredacted contracts between the government and the
Pfizer,
pharmaceutical
Lots of luck.
companies. They ignored me, but I learned a lot of things with that. Where do you stand, and what do you?
Well,
What's your
they'll
thoughts on
argue
the
all
topic?
those things. They'll argue all those things as commercial in confidence. I first personally believe there's a case against Pfizer for misleading and deceptive conduct.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got internationally, our laws against misleading and deceptive conduct in trade or commerce are probably some of the most strongest in the world. And I think what Pfizer have done, a absolutely clear breach of
So
misleading
what
and deceptive
about a
conduct
class
provisions.
action suit?
But it's
from
safe
There
people?
could be, yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think
what
they've
about
exposed.
everybody that's following this?
Yeah.
A
And
class
how
action
do
suit.
we get these unredacted contracts visible?
It's almost impossible because the minister has control over that, and the minister, that's Hunt, will just say it's a commercial in confidence. I'm not going to disclose it, and he can't be forced to.
Okay, and
Unless
the
it-
contracts-
unless it
unless
was
the
a-
government's acting as an agent.
Yes,
for
unless it's a
commercial
court
entity.
case. That's where if you had a court case under misleading and deceptive conduct against Pfizer, you could perhaps then get it disclosed under that.
They've had that many court cases about them.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing every time.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's like how...
I know.
I think the biggest one was, what, $53 billion? Misleading.
I know. This is previous years against this, but yeah.
So it just
I
happens
think.
again and again.
I think there's really a strong case against it, especially
Careful of the dogs.
that young girl called Maddie DeGarry. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen her. Now, all the things that happened to her, she was in the trial, so everything that went wrong with her should have been recorded in the trial data. They deliberately hid that and left that out. If they had to put that in, they wouldn't have been able to get all their vaccinations passed. But they hid that data, and hiding that data is misleading or deceptive. So it's in trade or commerce.
Because she didn't have the second one, so they didn't have to include her in the trials.
How do you see us as a collective being able to get this sort of information from the politicians at the steps of Parliament, or in some sort of way that we can we can start?
Well, the main thing that is, what do you ultimately, what's the ultimate things to achieve, right? And to me, the most urgent thing is to stop the mandates, right? And to stop the injection of the children,
And
and to make sure people get their jobs back.
What's your thoughts on us as a collective at Canberra? What's the most effective strategy? Do you think
Being
we
outside
should
the
do?
front of Parliament, because that puts in numbers, because that puts the pressure on Morrison. What happens? It's not only Morrison the pressure on it. Remember, you've got in Morrison's team, you've got 70 other Liberal members of Parliament at the moment who are looking down the barrel of being unemployed in like 6 to 8 weeks. So they're saying, Morrison, you've got to come out and you've got to change this because I'm going to get smashed. All these people out here are many of them are my constituents, and they're going to vote me out of Parliament.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you've got to change your ways, Scott. You've got to change your ways because you're going to cost me my job. And if he then doesn't do that, people will look, well, who else is going to put their hand up amongst the Liberal Party to take leadership of the party off him that will do that?
One lesson that I learnt when I was down at the airport is that the federal police were really polite and respected our democratic right to speak to our representatives. I spoke to Channel 9 and Channel 7 and SBS, and they were really supportive. I showed them the question that I'd asked. We had a bit of a brainstorming session and put it together. And what I realised that if we were dressed hiding in a corporate way.
Yeah, well, so we're not. The media will try and make us out as a rabble. So if you've got 100,000 people there, they'll pick the most crazy-looking person, and that'll be the
See,
That's what they did.
because Alan and I went there. We were dressed nice. We didn't have any flags or banners or things written on our car, and the police just waved us into the airport
yeah,
where they were
yeah.
pulling over people with the flags
Yes.
and with labels and posters
Yes,
and banners.
yeah,
And by the time we got into the car park and into the arrivals at Gate A and Gate B, we were at Gate B.
Yes.
There was only us two at the end. Everybody else, nobody else got through.
Infiltrated.
And I think there was at least 50 to 100
Yeah,
vehicles
in that
trying to
circumstance,
get in.
absolutely. But when you're outside the front of Parliament, you still want colour and movement and flags. Like that photograph I saw on one of the papers with everyone walking with all the thousands of flags, that's very powerful.
Yeah, well,
Channel
that's
9
like-
did a brilliant
Now,
thing yesterday.
One more question. We've been labelled as we're demonstrating, we're protesting. We've been labelled as protesters.
Yes.
Now I've been talking with friends, and there's a subtle difference between demonstrating and holding a vigil.
Yes.
Now, what's your perspective on rather than us protesting, but actually holding a vigil for the
Those that have been lost.
Yeah, but I think
for the
it's
injured,
It's going to achieve nothing.
for
If
the
we
safety.
keep-
Well,
if we
hold on.
keep- it's-
I want
it's
to ask.
civil disobedience. It's
Hold on,
civil.
I want to
We're
ask
peaceful
Craig. We can
protesting.
talk later.
You're just
but-
wasting time. We're
but
wasting
I'm
time.
interested in
We
what Craig
need
has to
civil
say.
disobedience to get the attention of the media. The media puts the eyeballs on everything we're doing. We're
Craig,
peaceful.
you gotta
we're
be-
loving.
Craig,
there's a fine line.
I'm really
very fine.
really interested
Otherwise-
in the difference between
If you
protesting
seem
and
to be
conducting
violent, remember
conducting a
what you're
vigil.
trying to do.
A peaceful
is
vigil.
we're trying to win the
vigil.
hearts and minds of the people sitting at home in the suburbs that are still not awake, right? And if they see this as violent, they say, "Oh, these people are crazy and violent." If they see we're respectful but forceful and determined, that's what you'll win the
The
hearts.
thing
So-
is, the
so do you-
police have
so do you see a
police have
difference-
families and friends and loved ones, and we're here for them as well.
So do you see a subtle difference between the idea of holding a peaceful vigil as opposed to conducting a protest?
But the
It's
people
a very
are here
fine
now.
line. So
The
people are
issue
here.
is the people are here
that's
now.
what I'm saying.
Hundreds of
So I
thousands
you want
of
as many
people
people
are coming to camera.
Every extra body on the lawn of Parliament, outside the front of Parliament, with a sign or a flag or something, adds to the weight of the protest and makes the message louder and louder in the Prime Minister's office. Right? So you've got to say all those members of the government got to walk inside and say, "Mate, did you see all the people protesting outside? We're going to get, pardon the French, we're going to get screwed if we don't do something about it, right?"
Well, let's do storytelling. All the victims, yeah? Job losses.
Thanks for your time.
Vaccine insurance.
It's a real pleasure to meet you,
Thanks,
Craig
thanks,
Kelly.
thanks for
And
everything.
good luck.